Hello, I'm Fadi. If this is your first time here, I share real life stories and explore unsettling, thought provoking topics that stay with you long after you hear them. If that sounds like something you enjoy, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. We've all heard stories about haunted houses, but hospitals? Hospitals carry a different kind of weight. They are places filled with tragedy, hope, grief, relief, life, and death. Emotions collide within their walls every single day. And when the lights dim and the corridors fall silent, those emotions seem to linger. The people most exposed to these experiences are the staff. Doctors, nurses, security officers, those who remain long after visiting hours end. They walk empty hallways. They pass abandoned operating rooms. They escort bodies to the morgue in the quiet hours of the night. Tonight, I'm going to share several terrifying hospital incidents that, to this day, remain unexplained. The officer in Western Canada. In Western Canada, there was a police officer named Ron Ware. Ron worked regular shifts at a large city hospital located in a somewhat isolated area. At night, the building felt especially unsettling: long corridors, flickering lights, silence that felt too heavy. During his night shift in the emergency department, Ron witnessed the worst of humanity: suicides, homicides, violent accidents. His role was to ensure safety and maintain order. Part of his duties sometimes included assisting medical staff in transporting bodies to the morgue, located in the hospital's old underground level. One night, Ron was tasked with transferring a deceased patient. He secured the body bag and began walking down the dim corridor toward the elevator. The hallway was completely empty, silent. Then he noticed something. Movement. From inside the body bag. He stopped immediately. Maybe it was his imagination. Maybe the bag shifted because of how he was holding it. He stared at it, trying to rationalize what he'd just seen. "The patient is dead," he told himself. "I was there when he passed." He had heard about post-mortem muscle spasms, but he wasn't a doctor. He wasn't sure what was possible. Still uneasy, Ron slowly unzipped the bag to confirm. The body moved again, and this time, the man's eye opened. In a low, strained whisper, Ron heard, "Help me." Ron stumbled backward, shouting for doctors. He insisted the man was alive. Medical staff rushed in, checked for a pulse, examined him thoroughly. There was nothing. No heartbeat, no breathing, no sign of life. The doctor suggested exhaustion, hallucination, stress, but Ron was certain of what he saw, certain of what he heard. Shaken, he left his shift early. As he sat in his car, trying to process what happened, his phone rang. It was the emergency department, requesting immediate assistance, an urgent situation. Ron rushed back. But when he entered the hospital, something felt off. The reception lights were off. The building felt abandoned, yet he began hearing faint noises echoing through the halls. Doors opened and closed on their own. Lights flickered on and off. The air felt heavy, like he wasn't welcome. He walked deeper inside, following the sounds, but found no one, and yet he felt watched. Every instinct told him to leave. Ron exited the building and later learned that other staff members had experienced strange, unexplained events there over the years. No official explanation was ever given. The investigator in Florida. From Canada, we move south to Florida. Investigator Marlene Pelliser was called to examine the drowning death of a child in a residential swimming pool. It was 2 a.m. The child had been declared dead. Her job was to determine whether the tragedy was accidental or the result of negligence or worse. Cases involving children are always the hardest. They demand precision, emotional control, absolute focus. Marlene first stopped at the hospital to collect the child's file. While waiting for the report, she felt something pass beside her, like someone brushing by in her peripheral vision. She turned. No one was there. It happened more than once. She ignored it. Later, while investigating the child's home, now a secured crime scene, she began documenting the pool area. The house was empty. Officers were positioned outside. Then she heard it. A splash. Something heavy hitting the water. She ran to the pool. Nothing. No debris, no animals, no falling branches, no visible explanation. Minutes later, another splash. Louder this time, as if someone had jumped in. Again, nothing. Inside the house, she later heard footsteps upstairs like a child running. She searched every room, every closet, under every bed. No one. At 4 a.m., she returned to the hospital for the finalized report. As she entered the hallway, she saw a small child standing there alone. She approached him gently. "Where are your parents?" The child ran. She followed him down a corridor only to find herself at a dead end, a blank wall. The child had vanished. Confused, she asked a nurse if she had seen the boy. The nurse insisted there were no children in that area. When Marlene finally opened the drowning report, the first page contained a photograph. It was the same child she had just seen. Marlene completed her investigation, but she never included her experience in the official report. She feared it would damage her credibility. To this day, she has no explanation for that night. The Girl and the Shadow. Back in Canada, a 14-year-old girl named Ina visited her hospitalized grandfather daily. They were extremely close. She often stayed late, doing homework by his bedside. One evening, she decided to stay overnight. Around midnight, feeling hungry, she went downstairs to use the vending machines on the first floor. The hospital was quiet. No receptionists, no visitors. As she stood in front of the machine, she heard a whisper. Soft. Close. She turned. No one. The whisper continued. Then she clearly heard, "Leave now." Fear shot through her. Goosebumps covered her arms. She felt as though something was behind her, following her. She ran back upstairs. As she reached her grandfather's room, she saw a long shadow slowly moving away from the doorway. She entered. Her grandfather had just passed away. Her mother later reported seeing the same shadow. Hospitals are places of transition, of final moments, of overwhelming emotion. Are these experiences stress-induced hallucinations, the mind reacting to trauma and exhaustion? Or is there something about these places, these moments between life and death, that we don't yet understand? The world still holds mysteries we cannot fully explain. What do you think happened in these stories? Have you ever experienced something you couldn't rationally explain? Let me know your thoughts. And if you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's much more to come. The best is yet to come.